pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good evening, welcome to the meeting. First thing I'll do is open the meeting to the public and address the board on any topic you desire. We'll have a second chance at the end of the meeting to address this also. Anyone? Okay. Minutes of the previous meeting from December 16th. Any note of any errors or omissions?
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes as read or printed.
Okay.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, bills. Our son, are there any additions or?
No, there is not.
Okay, I have one here, number 729 on page 3 at the top. Core for the battery, $36. I'm gonna delete that. I talked to the mechanic, and he said they took the battery up there.
Make a motion to accept the bills.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So you're deleting the $36?
Yes. It was a core charge for a battery they bought. Oh, cooking or something, just got really buzzing. Okay, correspondence, is there any correspondence?
We don't have any this evening.
All right. Okay, the results of the bids for the 2009 F-150 surplus vehicle that the board surplused at the last meeting. The high bid was $5,751. Motion to accept the high bid.
I make a motion we reject all the bids.
Second that. I have a motion to reject the bids,
And a second.
and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
I'd like to table this until after executive session. And then we can vote on it then?
Yep.
All right. Okay, PLM study. I said I would discuss this at the last meeting. We were a little busy last meeting with technical stuff. Last summer, we decided that it would be a good idea to look into what the future impact of development at the former Pfizer site would be on the electric rates in the village. In other words, we had a large electrical customer that isn't there anymore, and we wanted to see, as we developed that property and got new businesses to come up in it, what we would do with that, how it would impact the rates for the village. So we hired this PLM company to do an estimate and projection of if we had a 4 meg increase and a 12 meg increase, megawatt increase, and what it would do to our rates. And then we hired a consultant to do an assessment of the rate of what would happen. The PLM study said this: if we had a 4 meg increase, it probably wouldn't do anything to our rates. We could absorb that within our existing allotment of purchase power adjustment calculation, that would fit. If we go to 12 megs, which would be more in line with having the place scaled up with more businesses in there, the rates would go up a little bit. And so we had them analyze that, and it looks like it would be about, the average resident would go up about $7.50 a month due to additional supplementary electrical usage. Okay, so I said, but then they said we would make $500,000 increase in profit revenues in the electric department if we sold 12 megs more a month. So I said, well, what about if we're charging everyone in the village $7.50 a piece more a month, and then it's just gonna turn into a profit, couldn't we reduce it so that it would be a net sum for the ratepayers and not so much of a profit for the village? So they studied it, and they said that you could we had three options. You could either do nothing and just let it increase the way that it is, everybody pays, and this wouldn't be like immediately $7.50, it'd be like maybe down the road as we built up the different businesses in there and they started using more electricity. Just let the profits come into the electric fund and then use that money for other things like upgrading electric lines as they get older, existing underground wires, or bringing a substation up to the northern end of the village, which is what it always took to develop north of Route 2. There's 300 acres up there of an industrial park that is basically capped because it can't get any more electricity up there with the lines that are there. So, and it always needed a substation, and the owners knew that, and they didn't want to, 20 years ago, they were offered that, and they didn't want to invest $1 million in a substation. But if all of a sudden you got increased profits coming in, and I'm talking down the road, maybe 5 or 6 years, that might be something the village could look into. You could reduce the rates, that's another option, but the trouble with that is, you have to go to the Public Service Commission and do a rate impact study, and it takes a long time to do that, and a lot of work, and then you get your rates lowered, and then if you needed more money later on, for some reason, you'd have to undo it again, and they said that's not a good idea, especially for the small amounts that we're talking about here. We could also do a rebate system, thing, and we can transfer more money to the general fund, which we may be already doing. 3 to 3.5% is allowed to go into the general fund from that. So those were the three things, invest in the infrastructure, reduce the rates, or just do nothing. So I think what I would recommend the village do with our base rate of $1.69 cents a kilowatt hour, that we should probably leave it the way that it is. And since it's not gonna be immediate anyway, the effect of the increased sales, it's gonna gradually build up, that I don't think we need to do anything at this time. The board have anything to say about this?
No, I think it's a pretty good study and stuff.
That
Yeah,
summarize it
it's
correctly?
basically,
Very well.
Okay,
That $500,000 that was talked about in the consultant, is that gross
that was profits,
profits?
I think, yeah, that's what I understood, that's what he said.
That's what I thought.
It says substantial income from the additional usage, it could be as high as 500,000 annually.
Yeah,
So I would probably would gross, I would think.
Yeah, there's a difference between profit and gross.
yeah, I know.
Yeah, quite a bit.
But the thing is, it's not gonna be like, we go from what we're using now to 12 megs next year.
Right.
You know, they're not
I mean,
putting in a
you're
customer
probably
that's gonna
talking
use that
10
much.
years down the road before,
Yeah, at least 5 or 6 anyway, I would say.
before we
Yeah.
start getting
It's gonna
developed.
be, one building uses 1 meg or 2 megs, and,
Right.
it builds up as they build the buildings down there.
And it can be changed at any time.
Yeah,
Board approval. So,
Oh, yeah,
you know,
yeah.
we can,
but this gives us some direction now,
Right.
because I was a little concerned with, I didn't like the idea of increasing the cost per resident, just have it go into a profit account in a bank, I mean, we're paying more, but we're not using it to buy the electricity with, anyway, but it didn't work out that it would be feasible to change the rates around, so it was like a net zero for the ratepayers that are existing here, so, anyway. Does anyone have any questions about this? Okay. We've determined that we have to go out to bid for the next stage in the water treatment plant replacement. And we'd like to go out to bid for engineering services. So I'd like a motion to authorize the clerk to advertise for that.
So move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. We have a resolution here for the voter registration day. Whereas the next general village election for officers will be held on 18 March 2020. And whereas due to lack of activity of past registration days, the village officials have decided not to hold a registration day for the general election. That means that you can still come in and register to vote whenever you want to. We're just not gonna have people waiting down here in case somebody wants to come in to vote. So, I move that to the floor. For a
So
second.
move. Second.
Okay, roll call vote. Trustee Arnold,
Aye.
trustee Dart,
Aye.
trustee Menard,
Aye.
trustee Gadway is absent, the mayor votes aye. The second resolution here for the polling place, resolution 2020-02. This resolution designates the polling place and hours which polls shall be open for state election law. Be resolved that the Board of Trustees of the Village of Rouses Point has determined the polling place shall be at Rouses Point Civic Center, Halsted Hall, located 39 Lake Street, Rouses Point, polls being open from 12 noon to 9 p.m. Be it further resolved that as required by state election law, notice of said village polling place and time of polls will be given at least 60 days prior to election date. This resolution shall take effect immediately, and I move that to the floor for a second.
Second.
Okay, roll call vote, trustee Arnold.
Aye.
Trustee Dart.
Aye.
Trustee Menard.
Aye.
Trustee Gadway is absent, the mayor votes aye. Now we have a review of our village procurement policy. We've been in pretty heavy-duty discussions with the state and conference of mayors, and they suggested that we adjust our procurement policy slightly to add a couple of things that needed to be put in there, so we did. We had adopted this September 16th, and we added a couple of things in there to make it comply with the state procurement law policies. So, we also added on the back, we added some new employees for authorized responsible purchasing people, they can buy stuff for the village. And we removed the ones that aren't here anymore, obviously. So, like a motion to approve this revised procurement policy and procedures.
I make a motion, we approve it.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, and we have an announcement for the holiday decorating contest. Firestall, would you come up here?
Okay. All right. So,
Here, you can, please.
that's, oh, thank you. Write it down. So, we had a lot of good entries, for the house decorating contest, and we did come out with 3 winners. 25 Rose Avenue, which is Brian Pelkey. 18 Clinton Street was second place, that's Shirley and Dale Hawksby. And third was 28 Priscilla, which is Rose Diesel. Okay, they were very beautiful, it was hard to pick out of all of them. Other honorable mentions was 2 Elm, 14 Pearl, the Merry Christmas sign that was up,
That was Gaines Marina.
the Gaines Marina boat, but we didn't have a business class, so a certificate and an award for first place. And can you bring roses as well? Appreciate that. Awesome. Good stuff.
Congratulations.
And I will take
Okay, thank you, Karen.
Okay, and there was also donations from businesses for the prizes. Well, would you like to announce who they were?
They were from Ben Arno and Wendell Point Country Store and Bakery.
So thank you very much.
Thank you.
So I
Are you
take
gonna
it,
put those addresses on the website so we
Hoping
can go
so.
and take a look at the,
They're not lit anymore.
so Karen,
You should have, that would have been a
Should,
great idea.
yes.
Karen, so who put in the rest of the money?
An independent contributor,
Okay. So next year,
gotta get it
Maybe.
started, right?
or either that or the 16th on this next meeting,
Yep.
on the businessman's meeting, we ought to talk about that.
Okay, and I think that's a great idea to take pictures and to post
Yeah.
them, so gotta start somewhere.
Are you gonna be at the next meeting?
I will do my best,
Okay,
absolutely.
thank you.
Okay, I have an announcement that election nominating petitions are available at the village office. Ask for Amy. Okay, trustee Arnold.
Water plant filters, we'd like to change them as soon as the lake freezes over. Because every time we go to start to take the filters apart and stuff, the water, the lake gets roughed up and everything like that, so they don't dare to take it off and stuff. So they're gonna do it, I think, the next couple weeks. So on that, and the skid unit up to the water tank, they ordered the pump for it, or the motor. The motor was shot, I guess, on the skid unit. And also, I'd like to see the Christmas lights taken down, if possible. And we can start that.
When do we usually take them down?
After tonight.
Hmm?
After tonight.
Okay,
Yep.
okay.
Yeah. And also, I'd like to see put in the budget that we don't wrap the streetlights anymore downtown. I think it's a little bit of a hazard, I think. If somebody goes by and takes the bulb out there or something, somebody else walks by and sticks their finger in there or something, or grabs a hold of the thing. I mean, it's not really logical for it to happen, but it could. And I think we ought to put in the budget that they can buy the Christmas, or the candy canes that they have on the couple of them, to purchase them next year.
Or buy LEDs that no, you can't pull out.
No, I don't know if they got them or not. Mr. Juno, did they have them?
No, the ones they got to unscrew, it's not so much the unscrewing the bulb, it's the socket that holds them where the wire, when they get bent from the snow and the wind and the snow plows and everything, the wire breaks. That's where my concern is, if someone touches it. It's not so much, pulling the bulb out and sticking your finger in it as much, I'm not saying that can't happen, my concern is more of the wire breaking and still being live, so someone can still get a little 120 jolt, and that's not kosher. But if we already talked to Don, I talked to Don, and they were talking about getting more of those candy canes, and we'll just start adding those as we go, because I guess they're gonna get 3 more, so we'll have 3 each side, like we got 3 out now, do another 3, and then as time goes on, we'll just add on until we finish filling the lights.
That's a good idea. Thank you, Mr. Juno. That's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, trustee Dart.
I'd like to request an executive session to discuss the employment history of a particular employee, please.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
That's all I have, thank you.
Okay, trustee Menard.
Just one question for Mr. Juno. The new lights you put in the park, a couple people came to me and said that the new ones in Rouse Park,
Yep.
they said they were dim.
Those are the same lights that you see on Pratt Street right now. I don't know if it's the Lexan glass or what it is, or if it's because it's the light's so tall. But those are LED lights, and they're actually pretty bright. If you look at the ones on Pratt Street, it's the same bulb. It's the same, or I should say, same LED. It's the same setup. Not sure how we can really remedy that to make it brighter. The Lexans are designed to refract the light out, and it's obviously not not doing the right job for the setup that's
Are they
the application.
deteriorated, the Lexan? I mean, those are pretty old plastic on there.
Yeah, they're tan. They're yellowed. So that has something to do with it.
Yeah. You can see about getting a new globe for one and see if that works. Okay.
Thank you, I just had a couple people question me about it, so that's all I have this evening.
Okay, other reports. Mr. Cooper,
Well, nothing is really new. I'm off to school again tomorrow for 3 more days. That should finish it up. It'd be all done by now if it wasn't for the state of New York, but we are working with the state of New York.
Mr. Juno,
As everyone's probably noticed, we've been working on Pratt Street. We had some extra bulbs, and eventually we're gonna switch everything over to LEDs like the downtown. I got the other last 5 in, so Pratt Street will be finished, and after that it will be Montgomery Street and Veterans Park. And, well, that's including the boat launch, to switch those over, so we will be all LED eventually as time goes on. I gotta obviously watch the budget and see what we got for monies to keep that project going. I've also contacted PLM, in the lieu of Kurt Wilson passing away. They do any engineering that like Kurt had done. So if we do any upgrades or anything in the substation that requires engineering, they are there for us. I have the contacts back over on my desk. I'll have them for Donna. And I also contacted HMT, who PLM uses for any other work, like a programming of reclosures, anything that we can't do ourselves. So I have his name also on my desk, so they can come help us with anything we need as far as substation work, and also anything in the whole village. So they were very, very forthcoming and wanting to help us out in our needs, so. I also have, the switch gear has been ordered. That is on its way, because I know I was asked that, what was the progress of that. The switch gear has been ordered, it's being made as we speak. The line crew, right now, we've been working on the lights on Pratt, heaters, fixing the lights here. I've kept Donna updated. I've spoken with the representative for the lights here at the Civic Center, telling them how every time we come over here, another one's burnt out. And it's not just the whole light, it's like sections of it. So he's contacted the company, and I told him we need 35 more if we can hopefully replace those, because every light we've replaced so far, the 20-something, has been done without any cost to the village. The company has gone good for them, even though it's past their warranty. So I'm working on that with the representative for the company of the LEDs. So hopefully I'll hear something within next week or so. And that's all I have for
Can
now.
I ask you a question on them lights on Pratt Street? Is there any way possible that them lights would be lowered a little bit?
The way the neck and the whole unit is made, that's how they're designed. They're designed to be up inside the.
Well, I thought if they were lowered, it would show a lot more light.
It would, but we'd have to change the whole mechanism, the whole
Okay, no, I just wondered. Yeah.
thing, and I'd have to contact the company, King Luminaire, and see if there's a way of doing that to lower the lights,
Okay.
which I can do. It's not a problem.
No, I
See if there's a shorter neck.
Yeah. Because I know if they were a lot, like 2 inches lower, the lights would be a lot brighter. Yeah. Okay.
thank you. Okay, anybody else? Susan, you have anything?
Yes, the library, from its survey that it sent out to the village, 1/3 of the respondents wanted to see some weekend hours. So we're trialing being open on Saturdays again. In the past, the library was open on a Saturday morning and didn't get a lot of people in. So we're shifting it a little later so people can sleep late, run their errands, whatever. We're trialing 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. We're going to have a craft area set up for kids. So if it's a nasty winter day, parents can bring the kids in to play puzzles and games and what have you for the kids. And of course, just open for check-in and check-out. And we'll monitor and see how well that is received. So far, we were open one Saturday, and we had 9 people, which, not huge, but it was good for day one.
Okay. All right, and open the meeting to the public. I'm gonna address the board on any topic. Anyone? Yes, sir.
All right, I take it you guys actually, agreed to try to sell that truck?
Yeah, the board voted to surplus the truck, advertise it for sale, and the minimum bid was set at $2,500.
So, just out of curiosity, why are we declining a bid above 2,500?
I have no idea.
I mean, if we were selling it, we posted it for sale.
Well, for one thing, I talked to the village mechanic. And the other truck that's up there that we kept, instead of getting rid of this one, we should have got rid of the other.
But shouldn't we have done this before?
Well, yes,
Yeah, you
it
would
was
think
probably,
I mean, this
think
truck
so,
should have
yes.
never got, this truck.
nobody talked to the
should have never
mechanic, that
got-
was the problem.
Did anybody win the bid on the truck or no?
Yeah, I would.
Yeah.
We'll let you know tomorrow morning, formally.
So who won it?
The highest bidder.
Yeah.
Myself. I'm the one who bid the
I didn't even
$5,710. That is why I'm questioning it, because
Okay.
as a village, we posted a truck for sale. If people did not do their homework, then someone dropped the ball, but we still posted something for the village. The village agreed to sell this truck. There was a deadline for the posting for this truck. We put our sealed bids in. And this is
The
the,
village can reject all bids.
then we maybe
Okay.
should put that on the piece of paper when we sell something. Upon village discretion, we can deny or not accept bids.
That was put on the thing, I'm sure. I'm pretty sure it should have been. Isn't that the policy?
I don't know, it doesn't have to be the policy as long as it met the minimum bid.
Right, we rejected bid before that,
Right.
because we surplus that state trooper car, or the village police car, and we ended up keeping it.
Right.
We got, there was a minimum of 2,000 on that one, we got 2,000, but,
We got like 3,500 for that one.
and we ended up
Yeah.
keeping it. Well, still, it didn't make any sense, because we paid $1,500 to get the lettering out, so we still,
Well, we get reimbursed for that, it was free.
but we have rejected to, when needs come up in the village that the water plant need a vehicle to go back and forth to the tower, we rejected the bid, and, but we'll let you know by morning.
Anyone else? We need a motion to recess for executive session.
I so move.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
They don't know. Those are people for the truck. Hey,
And I get the brunt of it.
Good.